How's it going, you guys? Coach Hudson here, back to another video, and I'm super excited for this one because I'm going to give you guys my template for building out a full-on CrossFit cycle for your programming. So this can be used for an affiliate. This can be used for yourself. You want to kind of experiment with your own program. Maybe you want to program with you and your buddies and kind of play around with different ideas. This template makes it super easy to write out weeks and weeks in advance and save a lot of time and hassle and get away from what I think a lot of gyms are doing nowadays of just kind of pulling in workouts they see online and saving them and then kind of just throwing them into the mix. Because if there's no rhyme or reason, you'll stay functionally fit if it has a good, it has a good well-rounded balance of everything. But for a lot of people, I mean, even though you might not be, super stoked, like I don't care if I hit a snatch PR, it's still nice to hit them. You'd probably have more athletes or yourself be a little more upset if you didn't hit a PR, you notice, oh, my snatch weight went down versus if it went up. No one's gonna get mad that they hit a PR. So with that being said, it's gonna make it super easy to design weeks and weeks out in advance in just a short span of a few days. But I wanna start by saying three things. One, I have 6 years of CrossFit under my belt. I've been doing CrossFit competitively and coaching over 5 years and been to a lot of different gyms and worked a lot of different types of athletes. And also I've been doing my own gym's CrossFit Humanities programming. It's not my gym, but I'm the coach there. And I've been programming for them the past year, and this has helped me make it super efficient for people that can't come every single day. They have crazy schedules, they have work commitments, they travel a lot, and allows them to still get a good amount of everything and still hit PRs towards the end of it. Two, this is not the end all be all. Every single gym, if you were to follow their programming for a few weeks and see how they kind of have it structured out, every single online program, every single competitive program, they all had different methodologies. They all had different ideas on how they want their programming to look and how they want their athletes to benefit from it. So take one piece of this and kind of apply it to how you do it. You can use the whole thing, you can use none of it. My goal is just to help make the programming process easier for you if you don't already have a system in place. And then three is, in this video, I'm not gonna show you guys how to build out the strength, how many sets and reps of a certain strength piece, or how long should the Metcon be, what movements. That's a whole nother video that could be hours and hours long. But I'm just gonna give you guys the template so you guys can build out the days to make it so much easier to fit things in and make sure you're not overdoing too much of one thing or underdoing another thing. So with that being said, first starting off with the cycle focus. What I like to focus on is three main aspects every single cycle. So I like three because it's enough to where I can plug it in and still get plenty of exposure during this time and really hit some significant gains with it. If it's only one, it's kind of broad and it might be overused a little bit. Unless you want it, well, I'm not gonna mention that. And then lastly, like if you do more than three, if you do like 5 or 6 or 7, it's almost too diluted and they're not gonna really receive any gains from it. So with the cycle focus, I want it to be specific. What do exactly I want my athletes to get out of this? So let's say you're making this cycle for the open. You want your athletes to get open ready to crush it and do their best, because a lot of gyms will program around the CrossFit Open and kind of base their cycles every few months around that time of year. But if your gym doesn't do that, if you just see what your athletes are struggling on, just make the focus whatever you think should be the focus at the time, perfectly fine as well. But let's say you want to get your athletes ready for the Open, which is in a few months, and you want three main focuses. So the first one I would say is being able to do lots of barbell cycling. There's almost 3 or 4 of the 5 workouts will have a barbell in it. It's usually moderate weights, nothing too crazy unless it's like build up in weight or a max lift. So a lot of times it's like how long can you hold on a bar and just bang out a lot of reps. So I might focus on barbell cycling. So we're just gonna abbreviate that to BC. Put focus. BC. Another part is gymnastics. It doesn't matter how much weight you can lift. It doesn't matter how fast you can go into Metcon. If you can't do a muscle up or you aren't very efficient at chest to bar pull-ups, you're gonna waste a lot of energy. You're just gonna be spending a lot of time staring at the rings or staring at the bar and just letting time fly. So we want to focus on our gymnastics. It can be positioning. It can be getting our first muscle up or getting our first handstand push-up, working on handstand walks, whatever you want that to be specifically. You could literally the more specific you are with this program, the better to an extent. Like for example, I wouldn't want to just focus on handstand walks because there will be handstand push-ups and there will be muscle-ups in the Open. So I'm gonna keep it kind of under the typical CrossFit version of gymnastics. And then lastly, interval work. I'm gonna do HI for high intensity. I'll do HII, high intensity interval work. So for example, I might have the class do 30 seconds of work followed by 2 minutes of rest, or 1 minute of work followed by 3 minutes of rest. Something where they're really pushing themselves and getting that heart rate up, shooting up high, and then having to, take a big break to kind of recuperate and get better at it. Or it could be a little bit longer. You could have 3-minute intervals with 2-minute rest. Just something to kind of get them ready for keeping that heart rate high and then trying to maintain it at that higher rate, because that's pretty much what the open is. It's how fast can you go and for how long. So we have our 3 cycle focuses that we're going to plug in just a little bit. For the cycle length, from my experience, what I like to do is make it about 10 to 12 weeks based off of like how many weeks are in that month span. Like if there's 12 weeks in the next 3 months, perfect. But if it's like 14 weeks the next 3 months, for some reason, the way how it's like the calendar lays out, I might cut it down a little bit. But typically 10 to 12 weeks, more than not 10. And I make the first week and the very last week a test week and then a retest week. So during the test week, I'll make some parameters of my barbell cycling, my gymnastics, and my high intensity interval work I want to test. And then we'll do the same exact, that's a B. We'll make the same exact programming 11 weeks from then to retest those same exact movements, the same exact workouts to see if they got better at them. And just a quick example of like maybe something I want to test for the barbell cycling is I'll have them, in a 3-minute span or a 3-minute time frame, how many power cleans can you do at 95 pounds? And then obviously they're not going to do singles the whole way, or I'll tell them, hey, don't do singles. I want you to hold on the bar and do big sets. And then we can use that as a number to gauge when we retest it, how many can we bang out the next time. And obviously the longer you can hold onto the bar, the more reps you'll be able to do, the less time you're spending resting. So cycle length, I like 10 weeks, sometimes 12 weeks, sometimes 9 weeks. It'll depend on the time of the year. And then third, consistency. I'm gonna highlight this because I'm gonna do this. I feel like that kind of better separates those. Third, consistency. I really like this one because now it allows me to really pretty much get the whole 10 weeks done while still accommodating for holidays, for days we're gonna have, the gym's only gonna be open half the day. Maybe you think it's a holiday season and you think some athletes can be gone a few days and you want to kind of tweak things around. This is what I really, really like, and it keeps things fresh and exciting and still constantly varied to an extent. So we have barbell cycling, gymnastics, and high intensity intervals. Something we could play around with, or the first step that I do is I'll mark off all the holidays where we pretty much aren't going to have a skill or a strength focus for that day. So let's say this is, for example, we just had 9/11. We did a 9/11 tribute workout. So I'm not going to program a strength piece. We're going to do a tribute workout. We're going to give all our energy to that and get that done. So this day, we're not going to focus on any of these. We're just going to get a 9/11 tribute workout done. What's the next holiday coming up? Maybe Thanksgiving's a while, or Halloween. Maybe you close early on Halloween, only have a half day or something. So we want to block out a Halloween. I don't know what day Halloween is this year, but we'll say it's Wednesday. Speaking of, this is a Monday through Friday schedule. If you wanted a Saturday schedule, that's a whole other video. Because programming 6 days straight is tough. I will admit that, but I kind of just plug in random light, low skill, low intensity movements that can just go and get a good sweat on Saturdays. So I'll mark off all the odd days where like the gym's gonna be closed, or we might not, something where we can't have enough time to just focus on this. There's gonna be something specifically going on. Maybe it's the open, starting, boom, right here we have the open. We're gonna hit those every single Friday, so we're not gonna focus on that anymore. This is the first step that I do because it allows me to, again, block out all the days where I don't want to program on that day because it's going to be a different schedule or a different workout anyways. Then from here, I'll just space these out and have a day where there'll be none of these in the middle. So these are more so things that I want to focus on for the strength or the skill portion before the actual Metcon, but we will still focus on these during the Metcon as well. But I want to point that out because when we plug these in, it's going to be for the strength portion is how I like to do it. Maybe you don't want to do a strength portion, you just want to do just a skill portion for that day, or you want to do just a Metcon for that day and have it be focused on barbell cycling and the Metcon. I just like to before we even start the timer, the 3, 2, 1, go, and everyone goes crazy and gets sweaty and kind of loses their focus on technique and just goes all out. I like to, hi guys, every 2 minutes for 10 minutes, we're gonna do 8 hang power cleans at a light weight. You're gonna build up over the course of those. So that way I can watch them in more detail. I can see exactly what they're doing. I can give them quick cues because they're gonna rest in between the 2 minutes, load up weight, we have time to chit chat and focus on it. And then nothing's stopping you from still having power cleans or hang power cleans in the workout where they can now practice even more what they just worked on with you in a more personalized setting. So these are typically the strength portions, what I'm hinting towards. With that being said, we'll start plugging them in and we'll do barbell cycling. We'll do our gymnastics. And then maybe I wanna skip this day. I wanna do a very long Metcon that day. We're gonna do a 40-minute AMRAP that day. Then I'll do my high intensity interval. We'll do barbell cycling again. We'll do my gymnastics. Boom, that's my day off. Okay, next we have barbell cycling. Wait, no we don't. We have the high intensity. I take that back. We have the high intensity intervals, day off, barbell cycling. So you see that it allows us to so we've now done gymnastics twice, we've done high intensity interval twice, we've done barbell cycling 3 times. We might get, one more barbell cycling at the end of this because of the fact that it's first and we might not have enough days left over in this cycle to get these next 2. But that's perfectly fine. That's why I like to have the very main focus be the very first thing, because I think being able to move a barbell is pretty important. But you could mix matches. Maybe you want to make gymnastics more of focus and get 1 more day in and not really skip things. Totally dependent on you. Maybe you make it more structured and you just go, I'm going to do the first initial, B, G, H, X, B, G, H, X, B, G, H, X, like that. And then you just want to make it so it's much easier for you to kind of see what's actually going on. It's kind of programming, because it can get, if you are in the holiday season, you have a lot of days where things are getting thrown around. It can kind of make it hard to see things kind of fall together, and it can be maybe a good break before you actually do something again. But however you want to plug those in and fit those in, because it's still going to allow you to have a good break. At the very most, it's going to give you if you wanted to hit your barbell here and do gymnastics, high intensity, and do barbell again, you didn't want to take a day of no strength focus, you could still plug it in here and still have 2 days of rest in between. That's all up to you. I just like to do it that way because I've already got my holidays marked off. I already have, I'm already starting to plug in the days that we're going to do these main focuses. And then if I maybe, hey, this day sounds like a good day for a long Metcon. This day I want to do a long Metcon. You can figure that out as well. So doing this in advance now makes it super easy to start building out the strength portion, start building out the Metcons and fitting things in, because I know exactly what days are gonna be long, what days are gonna be short. I know that this is now going to be open days, so I wanna have longer Metcons these days, so maybe I won't this is a Thursday, that's fine. Maybe you're gonna hit the open workouts on Thursday. Maybe I don't want to program any of these. I want to make this a light day as well. So maybe I don't do any of these focuses as well. I'm going to program 30-minute AMRAPs of just rowing and running and ab mat sit-ups, something super light and low skill just to get their blood flowing so they're primed when it comes to that open workout the next day. This is totally up to you how you want to get it done. I like to play around with it every single cycle, but again, just make it simple. I'll show you one more time how you could make it just super vanilla. Is you do B, G, H. The X of none of these focuses is up to you. Maybe you don't want to do them, so you go again. You go B, G, H, B, G, H, B, just like that. And you can kind of build it out the rest of the way, up to you. But this has saved so much hassle of me building out a whole 12 weeks, and I realized, crap, we're closed this day, and then this day's a holiday, and then this day, it makes it less frustrating to build out a program and then have days that you have to take out and you don't know where to plug them back in or make it work. So if you do this, it's gonna be a huge headache saver. Now, the middle point, the strength portion, now it's up to you to build out these and how you want them to look. Maybe you want them to be the barbell cycling days be EMONs. Maybe the gymnastics days is 15 minutes just to work on certain movements or work on strength accessory pieces to get them get them stronger in certain positions. Maybe the high intensity interval days is days where you just want to program, hey, 10 seconds on, 50 seconds off for 5 rounds. That's totally up to you how you want to get done. You need your own experience and knowledge for that, but maybe we'll do a video on that later down the road. It'd be a pretty long video. Let me know in the comments if you want to see a video like that. Excuse me. And then lastly, Metcons. I like to do the strength portion first. That's why for a second I didn't have that in there, but then I wanted to throw that back in. I want to have the strength portion in there because, excuse me, I'm super gassy. Anyways, once I have my strength written out, I can now program the Metcons because the strength or the focus days are limited because we're not doing them every single day. Every single day in my programming, we have a Metcon. So no matter what day of the week it is, if we're open, there's gonna be a Metcon on that day. So our Metcons are here, we have so many. Our barbell cycling, we only have so many. Gymnastics, we only have so many. The high intensity interval, so many. So I make sure I build up the strength first so I have that set. We're gonna focus on those movements. And then now for the Metcons, a lot easier to plug it in because I'll also program for the Metcon whatever you just did for the focus or the strength portion. So for example, I had them do hang power cleans for their strength portion or their barbell cycling for that day. I might program power cleans or hang power cleans or squat cleans for that same day because they already have, they're already warmed up to cleans for that day. I don't have to go and program cleans for this day and have to teach cleans essentially twice in the same week. If I can give them, hey guys, on these cleans, I want you to focus on pulling those elbows high and shoot them through really fast. I go around and help everyone during the strength portion. During the Metcon, all right guys, we're doing the same thing, now you're just gonna add a squat to it. Okay, cool, now they can practice getting those elbows through fast and catching that into a squat, and it's gonna, give them more repetitions right off the bat, practicing those good habits because they just worked on them, and next time they come around to do them doing barbell cycling again, it's gonna be that much more efficient. So that's something that I've learned in my experience, that if you don't make the strength and the Metcon super random from one another, you make them pretty similar in some way, it helps out a lot. Another example of that would be, let's say for the gymnastics days, you have them doing a lot of vertical pulling movements, whether it be with a regular pull-up, maybe it's a ring pull-up, maybe it's a banded pull-up, maybe it's a seated lat pull-down with a PVC and bands type pull-up. You could program that same for the Metcon, kipping pull-ups, butterfly pull-ups. You could program, barbell rows. You could program rowing to get still practice and warm up those pulling muscles and have them learn good habits of keeping those shoulders down in the pull and not just hunching over every time they try to go and pull the bar or pull the handles to them. So the more similar the strength and the Metcon are for that day, the easier it is to coach the class, the more effective the class can be. That's one thing I wanted to point out. So with that, I'll do the whole entire strength portion. I'll program all of my strengths. It usually takes about a day for me. And then I'll go back around, I'll start plugging in Metcons. Metcons will take about maybe 2 days or so. I like to, for me, one thing that I struggled with for a very long time is I try to make every single workout, a meaty workout. I try to make it, 4 or 5 movements, 20 to 30 minute AMRAPs. And it just was too much. And it was like, I would do 14 movements by Wednesday, and I'm like, oh crap, I've already done, I've used their whole entire body 3 days in a row and they're fried come Thursday. So maybe you have them do the hang power cleans for their barbell cycling strength on Monday. For that workout, all right guys, 21, 15, 9, power cleans and ring dips. You haven't squatted, you haven't used much core, you haven't done any vertical pulling, any vertical pressing movements. It saves you a lot of different movements, whereas before I'd program all right, power cleans and ring dips and burpees and running and sit-ups. And then come Tuesday, they're already fried, and I'm like, oh, well, I've already used up every single movement. Now I'm gonna fry you guys even more. So simple is key. You don't need a lot of movements, a lot of couplets, a lot of triplets. Throw chippers in there every now and then, like a 3 or 4 movement chipper. Make it simple, make them push when they need to push, pace when they need to pace, and they're gonna have a great time in the class. So I hope this made sense. I feel like I had a good idea of what I wanted to explain when I went into it, but it might have had a lot of me rambling in the middle of it because there's so many things I could go over, but I tried to condense it as much as I could to make sure that I'm not talking about literally everything and making this a 40-minute video and it's already about 19 minutes. So I'm going to end it here. If you guys have any questions or comments or want me to expand on any certain topics and want to see a different video covering that topic, let me know in the comments and I'll be sure to make another video for you guys because I really enjoy this kind of stuff. I geek out about it. I love programming for my gym because there's literally so many different ways you can go about it to help your athletes see results, experiment with new things, test new ideas out. It's lots of fun. If you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure you hit the like button. It helps us out a lot. If you're not already subscribed for plenty more of these kind of videos. If you're not already, follow us on Instagram at ConstantlyVariedFitness. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next video.